Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. I am doing a little bit of a mid-year check-in, so last week's video and next week's video and today's video all have to do with we're halfway through the year. How are things going? In today's video, I'm referring back to this video, which I put up in the beginning of the year, which was or is my thrift wish list for the year. I want to go through it and look at, do I still want those things? Have I found any of these things? Are there any additions I want to make and other sort of notes that I want to make on that video and how the thrifting for me has gone so far this year. The first item I mentioned in that was a long white dress, closely followed by a long white skirt. I mostly intended for these to be layering options, like to layer a white skirt or dress under another type of skirt or dress to get a little bit more of that petticoat feel, a bit more swooshiness, a bit more warmth for those seasons. And upon reflecting on it, I think I more want the white skirt than the white dress. I'm not opposed to a white dress, but depending on the cut and shape and fit and thickness of fabric and so on and so forth of a dress, I don't think I foresee myself layering a dress so much under dresses and skirts that I do see myself layering a skirt under dresses and skirts. Now we're 6 months into the year and I have not acquired either a white skirt or a white dress. I'm still on the lookout for it. It's still on my list, but the ones I find just keep not being what I want, or I keep finding them online, like thrifting online, and going, it's really hard to tell how see-through this fabric is, and the ones I find in store, always see-through. But a long white skirt does stay on the list. We will just see when and if I manage to find one that I like and that fit my list of requirements for it. Next up we have linen trousers, partly because I love my pink ones so much and I wanted more variation and more options in that, and the primary colors I listed off in that previous video was blue and green. If you saw one of my most recent styling videos, which will be this one, I actually found myself a green pair recently. They are a linen and viscose mix, but I'm still gonna tick that off as something I have found and have acquired and really do like. I really like how those fit. They are elasticated in the back, they're smoother in the front, which is something I wanted. I wanted a more put together, I suppose, look in the front, but the comfort of elastic on the back is very, very nice. And then I also said blue, didn't I? And I am in a situation. So I spend some of my time scrolling on Vinted, which, if you don't know, is where like a person to person, I've cleared out my closet, I'm selling it kind of app, but with the security of I don't give my money directly to you, I give it via the app, and it's encrypted and safe, and those are the selling points for it. And I got myself a light to medium blue pair of linen pants on this website, on this app, that then proceeded to not show up. I'm currently, me and the seller are in a conversation with the app people. I trust that the seller sent them. I trust that they did their end of the bargain, but they did not arrive, even though the mailing service says that they did. We'll see what that ends up being, if I end up getting money back or if they eventually are found and sent to me. But after I'd gotten those green ones, I went back on the app to look at the order of the blue ones because I didn't remember if they were a lighter blue or a darker blue. And when I did that, I realized that it's exact same pants that I now have gotten in green. I'd also ordered secondhand in blue, a light medium-ish blue, but 2 sizes down. Now, in my defense, I did talk to the seller before I clicked purchase, and I asked them for the waist measurements of the pants, and I got that, and it seemed all good. But when I got the green ones, I got them in a slightly bigger size than I would usually go for, like approximately 1 size up from what I tend to be looking for when I look for bottoms. And when I tried those green ones on in a secondhand store, they also had the same pair, but 2 sizes down from what I got, so 1 size smaller than I tend to go for. I tried those on as well, and they were nowhere near as comfortable as the green ones. And that is now the color that I've ordered the blue ones in. So there is a part of me that obviously wants the pants that I ordered, and a blue pair of linen and viscose pants in my wardrobe would be a great addition. But a part of me also don't want them to show up because I don't think they're gonna fit, and then I'll be left with, having to resell them myself or pass them on to someone else. So we'll see in about 20 days, because it's a 30-35 day thing. It could take that long. We'll see if they end up or if I get reimbursed for them. I have since discovered, when doing a little bit more research into this, that the same pair that I now have in green and I've ordered in a lightish blue and tried on in a pink, but they were too small, I have also discovered that they exist in a dark blue, like a cobalt blue, maybe? They are so gorgeous. And I am tempted, especially if the smaller ones, the blue ones, don't show up. And if they do show up and don't fit me, I am tempted to get the darker blue pair because I do like that color more. So we'll see how that whole thing goes. But long story short, taking off linen trousers in blue or green or another color, I can definitely do. Next we have comfortable pants. And I will say that I have done really good at this. I have changed sizes over the past couple of years. A lot of my bottoms ended up not fitting me, skirts and pants, and I still have a few skirts that don't fit me that I should be phasing out, but I have actually acquired several pairs of bottoms this year, and all of them, as far as I know, maybe not those blue ones if they show up, but apart from maybe those, I have managed to acquire comfortable trousers, comfortable pants. And I'm so happy with that. I see myself more as a dresses and skirts type of person, but then when I actually look at my stats in wearing, I do wear pants a fair bit. Shorts, not very often, but pants, yes. And I'm then very, very happy that I have acquired so many comfortable, good bottoms, pants specifically. And I'm really happy with that, so I'm going to also put a big check mark on that one as complete. I did also talk about in that video that I wanted a small square scarf in a natural material, like a 50 centimeter by 50 centimeter that I can put in my hair. I have one that is synthetic that makes my hair staticky and isn't super comfortable like that. And this I have not found, partly because scarves are not really something I like beeline for in the thrift store. I do have other categories that I find more fun and I forget about scarves. But also when I have looked for scarves, I haven't found anything that isn't synthetic or isn't a larger size or isn't rectangular or something else. I am a little bit on the fence about this because I don't think it's a need. First of all, I mean, none of this is a need technically. I am privileged enough to have a large wardrobe that serves me very well, but I don't know if I would use it much if I had it, but I do still want to play around with it. I would still like to find one and play with it and see how I feel in it and how I fare with it, basically. I did also say in that video in the beginning of the year that I wanted to get things that fit my style and fit my wardrobe, and I've mostly been doing that. I think I have a couple things. I can think of one specifically that is a bit of a wild card and I'm not sure how much use I'm gonna get out of it, nor exactly how I'm going to be styling it. And that could be a fun challenge. It might be a fun challenge, but it's also a little bit daunting because it is quite far out of my comfort zone and I don't really know why. I think it's the color combinations, but mostly I have been getting things that fit my style and fit my wardrobe, I do want to say, but I will also say that I have been thrifting a lot this year. When I made my thrifting sort of wrap-up videos, I did a tier ranking one and a thrifting stats one towards the end of 2024. I did feel like I had been thrifting a lot last year. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, and most of the things I'd gotten I really liked and I'd gotten good use out of and I wanted to keep and are still part of my wardrobe and so on. But somehow we're 6 months into the year and my thrifting compared to that is basically doubled. For the full year 2024, it's basically doubled halfway in to 2025. In terms of number of items, I have not done the math yet. I have a spreadsheet where I keep track of my budget and everything, but I haven't sat down and actually calculated what I've spent so far this year on clothes. But I definitely do think it's higher than last year. And I go a bit back and forth on this because part of me feels guilty because I've acquired so many new pieces. I have put a fair bit of money into it. I have gotten more than I need. I maybe have a couple of regrets. That part doesn't feel good. But on the other side, I try to be gentle with myself and say that the things I have gotten, apart from one item this year, everything I have gotten is secondhand. I am keeping it in circulation. They make me happy. I will hopefully use most of them at least for a long time, and that when I no longer want or need it in my wardrobe, I hope to pass it on in a circular kind of fashion, you know, so I try to be gentle with myself on it. I definitely have thrifting as a hobby, and sometimes I don't know how I feel about it, because while it's fun and it's creative and it's, you know, the dopamine rush of ooh shiny, ooh a new cool thing, I don't know how I feel about one of my hobbies being spending money. That is a whole different topic. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to be gentle and kind to myself and put myself in contrast, maybe not to people who do very successful no buys and keep minimalist wardrobes and that makes them very happy, but instead put myself in contrast to people who overconsume newly produced items and the environmental impact of that compared to what I'm doing. You know, I'm trying to do that instead. I am not perfect in this area, I've never claimed to be, but I'm trying to shift the focus there a little bit about who I compare myself to, and maybe I shouldn't compare myself at all to anyone, because only I am a me, you know? But in the grand scheme of things, me thrifting a lot of stuff is not the enemy. That is not the bad thing. That is not the worst thing in the world by a long, big stretch. So, tangent. Let's get back to the list. Hello, editing Matilda here. I hope this clip is not too shaky. I'm just using my phone and holding that with my outstretched arm, which is not the most stable of tripods. But there was a thing in that thrift wishlist video I made at the beginning of the year that I did not talk about in the clips that you just saw when I sat down to film this video for real, which is why you're getting phone filming now. But a thing I put on that list and didn't talk about in this video was that I didn't want to buy anything or a lot of things that needed mending from the start. And if I was going to get something that needed mending, it had to be really, really special. Now, I feel like I've done good with this. I have gotten a couple things. Specifically, I'm thinking of this skirt, which I think is going to be really worth it once I've figured out how to fix it, because it turned out to be more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But overall, I have done a good job at not acquiring things that need mending right off the bat. I have gotten a few things with stains on them, but I don't really consider that mending. At least not when the stains do come out in the wash. But I do want to give myself a little pat on the back for that too, that I have accomplished that. Not that I really need to be accomplishing these things, and not that I really need to give myself a pat on the back if I do. Generally, I have stuck with that. I do have a couple small things that need mending, but nothing major, nothing crazy. I have done good with that. Okay, back to the video. The last thing on the list from the beginning of the year was a wall shelf to put 2 of my baskets on. And I'm a little bit sad that I haven't found one. I mean, I've definitely come across shelves, but I haven't found what I want. And I'm not 100% sure what it is that I want either. I don't want something super modern. I don't want something super boring. But the shelf itself is not actually the like decoration piece. The things I put on the shelf will be the visually interesting stuff. But I also do have a bookshelf behind you that I recently got rid of some books from that now probably can hold those 2 baskets, so I don't know if I need a shelf. But as a tangent on that, we're currently in my office, and you've seen this view, a lot of it, and I have been meaning to put things on these walls at least since the beginning of the year. I have a few things right here on the wall that you can't see, and behind me, which you also can't see because they're too high up, I have a couple of chair hooks from IKEA with this little string light flower thing hanging from that I never ever turn on, so I don't know why it's there. But I have so many things scattered around this room that I want to get up on my walls. And we're also doing a little bit of a like home reorganization, which room is where, and we do have more things around the house that just have not made it onto walls yet, and hopefully I will get to that soon, because I also have some things in here for the walls that could go in another room as well. So I want to get onto that. That's a tangent again from the shelf. I'm not sure if I still need the shelf. The shelf is not completely off the table, but, or off the wall maybe, but I'm not currently like super looking for a shelf. If I manage to find one, sure, but it's not a desperate need. But moving on into the second half of the year and this list, and if there's anything I would like to add, I can think of 2 things that I would like to add to this list. And I have been looking for them for a little bit and not found them, but I also know they're not impossible to find. First up, I want to find myself a grey denim shirt. I do have a couple denim shirts in blue denim, and I really like them as an overshirt on top of a dress or a t-shirt or something like that, and just adding a little bit of interest and a little bit of warmth and a little bit of something. I also have a cotton one that's currently waiting to be amended that I like to style like that, and I have a cotton and linen one that I got recently as well that I want to use like that. But I think a grey denim one would be a nice addition too. And I don't want an acid wash grey, but I do want a grey that has a little bit of white into it, like basically a well-worn one, or the look of a well-worn one. But it's definitely not something I'm going to look for new. I don't see a need to do that at all. This is also my thrift wish list, so that would not make sense. But I do want to keep looking for one second hand, and I'm sure there are plenty out there that I either just have not met yet, or ones that I will like more than the ones I've seen. There are a couple I've seen that haven't been the right fit or shape or stuff like that. And I also want to find myself a khaki shirt, again as an overshirt thing, so probably from the men's section, I'm not sure. But in cotton or linen, and a little bit thicker one. Like, I don't want it to be super flimsy and see-through the way I guess a linen one would be. So we're thinking more cotton as an overshirt, almost leaning into like a khaki jacket. Somewhere there I would like to find. I just think that would be really neat. But the thing with both the khaki one and a grey denim one is that it would just, the way I'm thinking about it, it would just give me variations for the same outfits that I have now. And maybe that's a little bit narrow-minded of me, but I'm thinking of an outfit that I'll wear now. For example, take my pink linen trousers, throw on a green t-shirt, and add one of those denim shirts that I have. Swapping out the denim shirt for a khaki one or a grey denim one, basically the same outfit, like it serves the same function. So again, it's not really a need, it's more of a want, but I do think those two, or one of those two, could be a nice addition to my wardrobe. They definitely feel more autumnal to me in my brain, not having them. They feel more autumnal to me for some reason than the blue denim ones. I don't know if that actually is the case, but I think it's because it's darker, duller colors. But I'm sure I could style it for summer too. I'm sure. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments down below if you have a thrift wish list going for the year, and if you've been taking things off, or maybe you do them like season by season, or maybe you don't have one at all. I would love to hear in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I hope to see you then. Bye!